record every purchase and make sure everything's in order. Like every purchase we make, we have to write it down, give it an asset number, then put it in the register. So if someone was to come in, like the council, and ask, "Oh, how much money have you spent this month?" and all the financial side of things, we can just say, "Look, here it is. Here's the money. Here's the receipt." Blah 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 blah. That sort of stuff.
Oh, sounds fun.
Trust me, it isn't. It's just sitting there going through every little piece of receipts, paper. Yeah, nah. It's uh, it's a job that needs to be done, but I got the short end of the straw, and I'm finally it's over. Managed to get it
Well,
all
sounds
done
easy
today.
enough.
Yeah, it's just there's a lot of stuff that needs to be put in order. Like I must have went through because we have at least 4 iPad trolleys with at least 30 iPads in each.
Cool.
And then
Wow.
you have to put it on. You have to type it into the register, then give it a number, then move on to the next one, and you think how many that is.
Yeah. Wow.
I started at like 7 this morning, and then finished around 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
Oh well, that's not too bad. At least it's quite easy.
Yeah, and then of course tomorrow I've got the bigger stuff like the servers, the switches, and everything else to deal with.
Oh.
Yeah, but
Have
hey ho,
fun.
all good. How's work been, mate? How's everything going? You getting ready?
Yeah, more or less packed. This way now for the final few hours now.
Nice, nice. Are you? When are you going? Are you going tomorrow night or the following night?
Well, I leave at my house about 5:30, and I leave the airport at 3 to get there for 3.
Wait, tomorrow?
Yeah, yeah. 5:30 in the morning, I need to wake up and get out of the house, so I can be out on the road. And then at
Oh
three
my
o'clock, um, I, I leave the UK, and then I get there at 3 o'clock in America. I don't know how
god.
that works, but
And you're there for how long again?
um, to Monday, and then I get back here Tuesday. I want to say I'm not too sure what time though.
Mate, to be honest, I, that's a long journey for a short amount of time being there.
Yeah, well, I didn't really. I was only going for the Comic Con thing. I didn't really have much plans else, but
Yeah, I guess. But it just seems like you there spend like so many hours on the plane just stuck there. You spend 4 days there and you got to deal with it all the way again. Like that jet lag is going to be a killer.
oh well, I'll deal
But
with it soon.
you'll live, you'll survive.
Yeah.
I'd understand why you won't not do the podcast next week because you'd probably be like shattered.
Well, we're not going to. We're doing Deadpool and Wolverine.
Oh God, yeah. I completely forgot about that. Jesus Christ. Oh
For
God.
obvious reasons, we're not doing it.
Yeah, God. Oh my God. I can't believe I forgot about that. What time is it again?
I believe it was 7. Yeah, it was 7 o'clock. We need to get
7.
there for. Oh,
That's
that's when
fine.
it starts.
Yeah, no, that's completely fine. Thank God you did that because next week. Yeah, no, that should be fine. I'll finish around 5. Get home 6. Yeah, no, that should be fine. Should be fine. That's fine. I just remembered I got a meeting with my boss that day. So yeah, thank you for reminding me because that would have been bad. Right,
You're
Wednesday,
welcome.
31st. Yep, gotcha. All right, perfect. Oh, thank God, because that would have been bad. It's like, hey, where the hell are you? It's started. It's like, what started? Wolverine and Deadpool. It's like, shit.
It'll just be your luck as well.
I know. Be swamped with work, and then I'd get a call from you. You're already at the Odeon, sitting down watching Wolverine and Deadpool, and I'm like, crap. At least I'll be like a 5-10 minute walk away, but I'd just be like, crap, I gotta go. Like,
That's not the point.
I know, I know. I wonder if they've got those popcorn buckets though. Have you seen them?
They did have some there, but not the ones which have out in America. But they're quite expensive. like one cup was it was 16 without a drink, 18 with a,
Jesus.
and then for bucket I think it was 10. I think it is, and then 13 with the popcorn.
What?
Yeah.
I don't know at this point. Honestly, that is just ridiculous. Just for a bucket that looks like it's. Actually, I don't even want to say what it looks like.
Oh, this one's just for just it's just like an all a plastic bucket with the pictures of the characters on there. It's nothing special.
Okay, it's not one of those ones with the open mouth, is it?
No, those ones are $15. I, I've been checking.
They're like 14 quid. Jesus.
Well, it's not really that bad, really. They also had like a head like Deadpool head one, which looked cool, but they're also doing a alien one, which is the like full alien head, and you can wear it as if it's like a glove or something. It looks
Oh,
decent.
God. People are going to use that out of context, I know for sure.
Well, not really, because it doesn't have the open mouth thing. You open its head.
Okay, slightly better, but the mouth just, I'm like, seriously, people were going to do that.
Yeah. Oh well.
Like, I
More
just
fun for
saw it.
me.
Yeah. Oh, Jesus Christ. Oh, hey ho. Shall we start then?
Yeah. For this one, yeah. Okay.
This one's going to be a bit crazy because I'm still trying to understand what's going on. Like, it's so much crammed into one episode that I might repeat myself because I can't describe it any other way. Like, it's really good. I've really enjoyed it, but it's like all this stuff gets thrown at you all at once.
I'm quite the opposite. Okay. Hello and welcome back to another Talking episode. I'm your host Teddy, and today I'm being joined once again by.
Hayden,
And today we're going to talk about the TMNT 2003 Season 2 Episode 8 Secret Origins Part 3. So, what do you think about this episode briefly?
briefly, this episode is a really good finale. I gotta say, it's really nice seeing all the characters. Oh yeah, sorry, briefly. To be honest, I can't put it into brief words because it is such a action-packed episode. There's just so much to unravel and to unpack. It is a lot of information to take in all at once, so I can't really describe it in words. But it is really good. That's all I can say at this point.
Yeah, I'd just say that I'm quite the opposite. I feel like with this episode, it had like a really bad pacing problem and didn't really know what to do with like half the characters half the time. It just felt like it was just like stuff was happening just because it needed to happen, and just it had really bad pacing. It became a little bit cringy to watch at times. So yeah. Okay, so should we start with the outside stuff first, because I thought that might be easier to, because there wasn't really too much to really talk about that bit there.
Yeah, sure. We could talk about the outside bits. Where do you want to start?
Well, okay. So for like the first little bits, we got April trying to trick the general into like doing an interview. Do you have anything to say about those kind of scenes?
To be honest, not much except April wearing the sewer suit. I'm not too sure what it was, but it kind of showed like April's ability to change costumes and all that, and just oh gosh, where am I going with this? Can we cut this out?
Yeah, we can.
Yeah, we can cut this out. Good, because there's not much. I don't know where I was going with it. Basically, let's start again. Can you say that again? Because that was just there.
We can just start from like where you're going off, just because I can, just just, just restart the whole section a little bit here.
Yeah, let's start again because I don't know where I was going with the April costume thing. I was trying to say like, oh, it's related to like the original comics and all that.
Okay. Well, okay. Well, with that bit, I felt like that it was a pretty decent bit, but I felt like at the same time the costume, it was like a nice reference to the original show, but at the same time it felt like very weird just because with how much people led like disliked the original show and how much they didn't want to like incorporate a lot of those elements from the show into this one. It's weird that he would put some of this into his show into like this like version of Turtles, even if it was like a fun little reference. I thought it was nice, but at the same time felt a little bit pointless. I mean, with all the other stuff like that, it just was just so weird, and the fact that like basically like after like try to tell him, oh yeah, basically we've got a terrorist organization to go block the building, and they tell them to go away. And then all of a sudden they see blue line like, ah yes, like it's just so, uh, it was so weird and just so out of this version of Turtles. I feel like it just felt so not this Turtles, if that makes sense, compared to like other elements of this like Turtle franchise, where it would fit really well compared to some of this. It felt so weirdly forced in, which yeah, ugh.
Yeah, no, it does feel kind of forced in regards to like the pacing. Like, oh, April's trying to warn the general that there's an explosion. The general doesn't believe her. Then the general thinks, okay, we should believe her because there's a giant blue beam of light shooting into the sky. It's weird. I do understand where you're coming from with that.
Yeah. And then for like the last little bit for like the army stuff, we do get to see them breaking into the building and just start firing missiles at all the robots. Do you have anything to say about those kind of scenes?
To be honest, I wasn't expecting them to have a full-on firefight with the sentry bots, and then to bring out RPGs to then blow them up. It was certainly kind of shocking, but to be honest, I wouldn't expect anything else from the military.
Yeah, it felt like weird just going from just like normal guns to then just all of a sudden just going in with like rocket launchers, just blowing everything up compared to like I don't know. It felt like so weird, and just how they escalate things quickly. Just because, like, and the normal guns like were working, and then all of a sudden, just kind of rocket launches, and like, yeah, okay, we've done it, and then it, it's such a like such a bizarre scene. But then for the final one, which I feel like you got quite a bit to say about this, we do get to see a shadowy figure in the fog and smoke. Do you have anything to say about that little bit there? Because I think you might.
Yes, I was gonna say. I was thinking, oh, it must be like some sort of misedit or something, or like a blooper. But turns out it wasn't. And I went back and rewatched it again, and I saw the figure of the Triceraton that escaped. And I'm thinking, okay, the Triceraton's back. But then, of course, he doesn't, which is a real shame.
So, so you think it's a Triceraton?
Yeah, I think it's the Triceraton that escaped, and I think he's coming back. But to be honest, I had my. It did look weird because its tail. The tail looked off, but I thought it was the Triceraton. But I really, I really don't know.
Do you want me to tell you or not, or do you want to keep a surprise when it actually gets revealed?
You know what? Keep it as a surprise because I know it's going to be good.
Okay, well, it's annoying that you don't want to know because, if anything, I'm quite surprised you don't know the character it's supposed to be because uh, it's annoying, but okay. We'll keep it spoiler. Okay, so like either way, keeping it spoiler free. I like how they are setting things up for the eventual reveal of this character when this character shows up later. And it's nice that they are showing it now and setting things up, but I do find it a little bit weird, which I do try to keep it so hidden and shadowy if like people like you who don't know the character it seems a bit weird and often like that. And then one thing which I did find a little interesting and weird, I want to say, is the fact that with the characters like growls and all that. I'm pretty sure they like reused those growls and other characters like before in the show, so I think that's interesting. So yeah, either way, it's very annoying that you don't know who the character is. But yeah, okay. So let's go over to the main bits. So yeah, okay, so we've got the first battle with the Towers versus the Foot Elite, Harden, Shredder, Baxter in the VR chamber bit there. Don't you say about that bit there?
To be honest, it was really cool to see Baxter again and him showing off his weapons. To be honest, I didn't really have much to say. That the fact that we found out that that Stockman is basically a puppet to the Shredder. But apart from that, nothing really much. We got to see his weapons in use. But apart from that, not really much.
Yeah, I thought that like the stuff with Bagstrom, it was like quite good when him just comes over and was just like, you've lost a little weight and all that, and just like electrocutes them and nearly defeats them. Which I'm very surprised about, like how powerful Stockman is in his tiny body compared to like when he was in like the last time we saw him with like his big body, where he was able to defeat them, but not to the point where he was able to take out the Turtles and Shredder. So I feel like he's definitely found his like look, which is quite surprising, but it's interesting. I'll say that. Then with Han, I was quite surprised with him being able to kick so high, like above Master Splinter. But like, with Han, I felt like he was just there because he was part of the Foot like clan and all that, but didn't really felt like he was really needed for these kind of scenes. Like uh, I mean, well, like, don't sound like we're like, don't sound like, oh, oh, don't sound like where I'm coming from with like the HUD and stuff, where it just felt like he was just there because he had to be there because, yeah, like, do you understand or?
Yeah, I understand, but I think it was nice to see Hun again because Hun was there with the elite ninjas. He was there with the Foot. He was kind of like like the lieutenant running it beside Shredder, and it was just really cool to see him back again because we haven't seen Hun in quite a while. So I guess if it was just Hun and the Shredder, then it'd be a bit forced. But because everyone was there, I didn't really notice it that much.
You had to say, like, he really felt just so weirdly out of place. And I mean, at least with like Third Elite, they could at least go after the turtles. But Hunt just felt like he was just kind of there and just being there because he had to be there. And then also like the Third Elite stuff, I thought that was pretty cool to see them there. I don't know to really too much to really say about that. We did get to see Shredder. He's going around trying to be like Mortu. Do you have anything to say about Shredder and his fight with Mortu or anything like that?
The Shredder fight with Mortu. Now that was an interesting fight because after like 10,000 years, they finally meet and they finally have a chance to battle it out and destroy each other. And of course, seeing Mortu fight Shredder and seeing them both like angry about each other, it was certainly pretty cool because after we saw the flashback or the Matrix, I like to call it, in which Mortu and the Shredder were fighting, it's weird to see them now in the present fighting, and it creates some sort of deja vu Matrix paradox, if you understand where I'm coming from. Like it's super weird just to see them now fight after all these years. Like a massive time jump.
Yeah, I mean, I thought that like I'd say for like with I'd say for like now knowing like the history and the background with these two characters and everything they've gone through and been through, it does make this fight a little bit more impactful. But at the same time, with like one thing which like Morty does mention, it just really makes you question a lot of stuff about like the history of these characters because Morty says basically like Shredder hasn't found him in like 1,000 years. And considering that like they've been on Earth for like what 10, 11,000 years, something like that, it's crazy to think that like during that throughout that time he didn't find him. It's just so weird and bizarre that I was able to lose him more or less within like the first year of being on Earth. I just find it to be like so weird and stupid, especially like when you know like Shredder because like with the Ultron stuff and all that, he's been around for all this time, and yet he didn't know about them, and it's just so crazy to think that like because with the whole stuff with the and with Shredder's like head like like headquarters in New York, like pretty like and it's pretty like close to like TSRO building. He didn't think to go over to that building that looks so bizarre, strange, or it's been up for all that time, or the Mortu stuff. But instead, he decided to go underground to try and swim there. It's just so much stuff like that, which is annoying because. But at the same time, I do like it because the lore and the history. But at the same time, he's been around for like 10,000 years and didn't find him once. Ah,
It does seem a bit far fetched, to be honest with you.
Yeah. But then after that, we do get to see Mortu, he leaves, and we do get to see Shredder and the Foot Clan, they do leave as well. And that leaves the Turtles fighting the room to escape. Anything to say about that scene there?
Seeing the turtles fight the room, I was a bit confused at first, thinking, why are they fighting the room? What's this room doing? And then, of course, they referred to it as like this techno-organic life form in which the room's sort of like alive in a way. And of course, that really gave me a lot of Alien vibes. And of course, we've spoken about this room before, and it reminded you of Alien as well. Like something's going to pop out of its chest, sort of thing, like Alien. But no, when they said that, I was thinking, oh, okay, this is like a sort of living organic room, something futuristic and dystopian. And of course, when they were hitting the wall, it was self healing. And then, of course, they tried hitting the wall in a rhythm. And then, of course, this room kind of, I guess, throw up or just like pushed them out. I'm not too sure how to describe what the room did to them, but they managed to escape and they managed to get out all right. But yeah, no, it was very weird to see that room because it was all filled with organics and all that, very much like an alien sort of style room.
You gotta see that with the like new threat with it being a living wall, I found it to be like pretty interesting because it was something which I haven't like thought before, and I found it to be like quite interesting. And even like the like designs with because we've got to see like the like tenno patterns on it, which I found to be like very interesting, and fascinating. And as I say, for like with the threat and all that kind of stuff, it felt a bit anticlimactic because I mean, we do get to see liquid, which like slowly rising despite how much is pouring into it, which you'd think they should be drowning within like a few, like I would say, like 10 minutes or something. It should have been rising a lot faster. And I do like how they're like hitting it and wave effects and all that. I mean, that would be so satisfying to do in real life. I really hope someone creates that. But honestly, but it was just so. I don't know, because I do think it's like a pretty interesting threat to do something about because it's something I haven't done before, and the way everyone went around it was pretty cool. But at the same time, it was just a wall and just some just some liquids. It wasn't really anything to end of the world or anything like that. So yeah. So after that, we do get to see another fight with the turtles and the Third Elite. Don't you think to say about that fight scene there?
It was pretty cool to see the Foot Elites fight again with the Turtles after the near death situation on the tower. It was awesome to see that the ninjas were back again. Of course, we already know how they fight and what they use, but it was. I'm not sure how to describe it. It was weird to the fact that are these different ninjas? Are they the same ones? It was. I'm not too sure. Something wasn't right. It was a bit off. Like surely after the battle with the turtles on the tower, some of them might have been defeated. Are these new ones, or I don't know, something like that?
Yeah, I mean, I felt like with this fight scene here, it was pretty cool for the most part, but I'll just say that compared to like other times where we do get Super Turtles fight for Elite, I'd say that with this one, it didn't really have that like high energy kind of feeling for this fight, and just was just kind of there and just happened, especially with how we were told how to like beat them quite easily. I mean, I'd say like when you look at like back at the first appearance where told how to uh, like barely escape with their lives after fighting them, it just seemed a little bit disappointing knowing that basically they can just go in, fight them, and win within a matter of seconds. It just feels very anticlimactic. But we do get to see Fishtoid. He does use the voice command to change Stockman, and Stockman like electrocutes Shredder. What do you think about that fight? Or like, I see fight scene. Yeah, so yeah, let's say fight scene. Well, there.
To be honest, it was certainly very different. I wasn't expecting um, Dr. Honeycutt to have that sort of ability and to override Stockman's voice command. I thought that was pretty cool, like using Shredder's voice against him, and I thought that was pretty cool. And of course, when Stockman comes to his senses and realizes he's being controlled, he just goes full on, um, crazy mode and just throws himself at Shredder, electrocuting himself and Shredder in the process, finally bringing him to an end. And of course, we got to give Stockman the credit here, because Stockman has been through a lot. Like, he's now just a head in a jar, basically. Like, he's just a head. And of course, after all this time, Shredder kept cutting off his body parts and limbs. He finally got his revenge.
Yeah, let's say that this bit, I did quite enjoy it quite a bit. I'd say like usually like using like Shredder's voice. I found it to be like a very cool like use of his powers, but at the same time, he never does this ever again. So like even though it's cool to see him do like just. I feel like there's like so much potential they could have done with this, like just him just going around like different places or different homeworlds and just trying to be different commanders and just just, like causing universal wars. There's so much they could do with it, but yet they just don't, which is really disappointing. But with the whole like Stormman versus Shredder thing, like again, like what I said like earlier, I was like how like in this small little body he was able to just climb onto him, electrocute him, and then just walks away. And compared to like last time where we had Big Sue trying to take down everyone and throwing everyone around the place, he couldn't take him down. But yet here we're just executing him. It just felt so like cool because of like Stockman and stuff like that. But at the same time, compared to like last time, it does feel like really weird that he's able to do it now and just it's just like everything like the pacing and the like power problems which I have in this episode. It's weird to say like this, but at the same time, it's just so cool. Um, so then that's when Shredder does drop a bomb, and this song which I do think might be a bit interesting to ask. What do you think about everyone like saying, "Oh, it's an implosion device. It's going to self destruct," and just nothing to do with explosion? Yeah, did you notice that?
To be honest, I did. I did notice the fact that he said implosion, like the bomb was a bomb that would cave in on itself. That's what I was going with the basis of. But yeah, no, it was pretty cool to see this sort of technology, and to how Shredder still had some Ultron technology still left in his arsenal. But to be honest, it was really cool to see the bomb have like this virus effect, like infected the walls, infected the systems, and you couldn't remove it, otherwise you get infected. And I thought that was a pretty cool concept.
Yeah, see, but with the whole thing with the wording thing, I feel like that's more of a for kids kind of thing, which was just weird, but it's a unique weird kind of thing. But with the device thing, I thought it was like a pretty interesting thing how he's able to infect the whole like room. I think it would be like quite interesting to see like the whole thing like go outside and infect the building on the outside. I think that would have been like quite cool to see, but unfortunately it doesn't. But I do like the design of it, and even with some of the stuff which I don't want to talk about in just a little bit, with how they don't really rush to do much, shall we say? So yeah. So next scene, we do have Motu giving Mosplinter a orb, showing that oh god that oh what's her name Hamato Yoshi would and is a guardian there.
Now that was a really interesting scene, and that is one that kind of blew my mind a bit. Only because that Splinter's master was a Ultron Guardian. That was completely unexpected for me. I did not realize that Splinter's master was a Neutron Guardian. And now it kind of makes sense in a way that Shredder killed him, because he was trying to find the Ultron at the time. And of course, Splinter's master wouldn't give him an answer, so Shredder took his life. And it all makes sense now. And it just is really cool to piece all the different pieces of the puzzle together to finally make sense of why Shredder was there that night, why Shredder killed his master, and it all folds into this one giant story. And I thought it was just really cool how they managed to squeeze that in.
Yeah, to savor this bit here, I do like how it's more or less like a retcon in a way, but I think it's like a really good retcon that it just like adds more to the story and more to the lore and history to everything, which I think works like really, really well because it just like adds more like new layers and emotional depth to everything, which I think works really well. But at the same time, just I don't know, because I think that because of how they do like the story, it just, and especially with stuff we should do later, because in like season 5 they retcon some stuff with Splinter saying that like and saying that Splinter knew that Shredder was an Ultron, which seems a bit weird, but yeah, he didn't tell us about how much Yoshi being like a like that. So I find like a lot of stuff like this. It can be cool, but also at the same time annoying at certain points. But I feel like this is like a pretty cool reveal. But at the same time, there's a bomb that's about to explode, and yet they take the time to just like go down memory lane. I, yeah,
Yeah, no, that is a bit. Now that you mention it, I completely forgot about the bomb at this point because I was just really impressed on how they managed to squeeze that little flashback in. But yeah, no, there's a giant bomb that's about to explode, and you're concerned about family reunions and past memories. Like, there's more pressing matters to attend to at that point.
yeah, well, it does get a little bit worse because in the next scene that they're talking to Future Toy and they're like, Future Toy, you can come stay with us and all that. And then Future Toy goes on a rant, and despite there's a bomb like counted down, it goes, I can go out to another world where my genius and technology will be like used for good and won't be used for destruction. Oh my, I need to go. But the turtles, I met you and you're my friends. Now it's time to say goodbye. There's a bomb in the room, and he's saying all that. A simple yes would do.
If I was Dr. Honeycutt in that situation, I'd be like, sayonara, see you later. I'm getting the hell out of here.
Yeah, and then I gotta say, like, possibly the worst possible cut they did in the show ever, because with this bit here, they got we do get to see Mikey, he's crying and goes, "Oh, I hate goodbyes," and then the next shot we do get to see the bomb counting down, and then the next scene, Auto's just normal, just staying there static, like that was the worst shot ever. Like, do anything to say about that little bit there?
To be honest, I didn't really think of it at the time because of all the information that was being crammed down my throat and just like everything else that was going on. But now that you mention it, it does sound like, what are you doing? Like at that point, if I went back and watched it then now, I'd be like, oh my gosh, run, do something, get out the building or something is about to go. But yeah, no, I do understand where you're coming from with that. It is kind of stupid that they just stood there. They could have got that time to get out the building and
Yeah.
get into the sewers and get somewhere safe, you know?
Yeah, well, in the next scene, we got the Shredder coming back. Again. So this time, Tails fight him and throw the weapons into him. What do you think about that bit there?
Really, I did not understand why he came back. Like, surely they would have left him at that. Like, sure, he would have been defeated. They would have left. Shredder would have had another chance to come back in future episodes. But I don't understand why they brought him back. I don't understand why. That would have been perfect if he would have been defeated and then Han took him away and then he was saved for another episode to come back and take back on the Turtles so they would continue on the storyline with Shredder. But then, of course, he comes back, and then the Turtles find the courage and the strength to attack him with the weapons that they just used to attack him, but didn't penetrate the armor. I don't understand. Could you explain to me what happened and why that happened, or are you complete loss as I?
Okay, so with the Shredder being back, he just wants to stop the Utroms, go to their world and take over it because he's the bad guy. And then he sends them off to go find Stockman, which they don't, surprisingly. And that's when the Turtles go and fight him, despite the clock counting down. And I thought it was a decent scene for the most part, but at the same time, Mikey's nunchucks was able to stick into his armor despite them being made out of wood. Like, even though the metal parts are stuck into it, like, it's not bladed or whatsoever. But even with some of the weapons, like, because I mean, do get to see at some points, like, Raph Leo's swords were in his chest, right where Shrel was. Uh, so I don't know what to really say about that because he should definitely be dead by then. If if anything, with all the blades going into him. Uh, God. So yeah. So next bit, we do have the big reveal that the Shredder is the Neutron and he starts to attack everyone. What do you think about those scenes?
To be honest, it was kind of obvious that Shredder was an Utron because Splinter pointed out it's the same Utron from the flashback, the Matrix, all those millennia ago. And to be honest, I already kind of pieced together from previous episodes that Shredder was an Utron. So it didn't have that same effect, if you get what I mean. Like, sure, it would have been nice to not know and then find out it was the Utron, but unfortunately, I figured that out way before, and it didn't have the same effect. So I can't really say it's like, oh wow, it's such a wow factor that I now know that Shredder is the Utron from the Matrix in the flashback. It's it didn't have that same effect, if you get what I mean.
Yeah, I think everyone really sort of coming a mile away with the whole big reveal, which I don't think is bad, but I feel like they try to play off as if it's like a much bigger thing than what it actually is, which it is like a pretty big thing. And I do think like the overall retcon of it being like Shredder's neutron, I do find it to be an interesting like development to his character, making like something more different, more unique this time compared to other versions. And I think it does add like a lot more. I don't know because I'd say like with 2012 one, his one is definitely like it's driven by emotional stuff and all that, and I think that has like a very unique aspect to his character, which I think really helps like make that version really great. But I feel like with this one, because he has such a like drive for revenge with the Utroms and other turtles, I think it does add like a very interesting layer to his character, and especially with how far they do take things with over like next season, which I do think is pretty interesting. But I feel like they just like played out to be like a much bigger thing than what it actually is, and it just. I mean, I don't think it's necessarily bad, but I just think that everyone saw it a mile away, and I think that it's either like you like it or you don't. But even if you don't like it, it's just one of those things which you just get used to quite quickly because they don't really show Shrell all too much, which is somewhat of a good thing and a bad thing. For me, I didn't actually grow up like knowing the like reveal about this. I like knew Shredder was neutron from like the Toll movie, and so it just seemed like weird like going back to this episode now and be like, oh, so this is where he came out as a neutron and stuff like that. It doesn't have that same effect, which I don't know. I feel like they're just missing that because I'd say that they make it like very obvious in like the last two episodes, and I feel like there's like they could have gone around it in a more interesting way and not made it so obvious. But it's like an interesting reveal with what they do with it. But I'm just gonna keep repeating myself. So yeah, but other than that, the fight scene was pretty cool. After that, we do get see the turtles. They do escape. Meanwhile, Shredder is caught in the implosion. Anything so say about that bit there, Hayden? Hayden?
Yes, I'm here. To be honest, I was kind of annoyed that Shredder was caught in the explosion because Shredder was the one that planted the bomb, and of course, he kind of like just forgot about it like halfway through. Like his rage, his anger kind of got the better of himself, and he forgot about the explosion and thought he could escape in the transmitter with everyone else, but clearly he wasn't fast enough. And of course, it was just kind of silly that the fact that he completely forgot about the bomb until the last second. Like, surely he would have crawled away into the sewers from the room and made his escape. Like, surely that would have been the logical move to do. But instead, he kind of just took an explosion to the face, you know?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know too much to really say about that. Seeing it's just one of those kind of scenes that happens. But big question is, do you think Shredder is dead for good this time?
Well, it would be pretty hard to come back from that. you'd think, right? Like, surely Utron technology can kill a neutron, and that whole implosion explosion just wipes him out. Like, surely he wouldn't be on this plane of existence anymore. He'll be gone. He wouldn't be alive. But to be honest, the stuff that I've seen so far and how crazy Turtles can be, I think he's going to be coming back soon. Like, he's going to be surviving by some sort of magical technology or by his sheer will. He's going to come back at this point. It's not going to be like a huge thing because it's Turtles, and I've come to realize that Turtles is crazy when it comes to the bringing back characters and everything else. And so I'm just expecting like the unexpected at this point. Like, sure, he's going to come back.
Okay, that's an interesting way to think about it. And I mean, yeah, I mean, sure, across various versions of Turtles, he has come back from worse. And even in the original comic, because he like died from the explosion from Donatello and the thermite grenade, he still came back from that. So, I mean, there's a, I mean,
Exactly. Exactly my point.
it's Shredder. Yeah, so then for the last bit, we did get to see the Turtles. They meet up with April and Casey on the outside. Do you have anything to say about that bit there?
To be honest, I'm surprised they managed to get the location just right. Otherwise, they would have been falling right onto a slab of concrete, and it would have been a quite a messy situation. Plus, with the army there as well, they would probably open fire upon them and probably take them in for like a research lab and experiment on them and all of that. Like, they got it so lucky that they didn't get caught.
Yeah, I mean, so this is one of the bits which I found to be really bad with the pacing because with this bit, I feel like it was like good to see them all like getting back together and again. Not really too much I can really say about it. It's just one of the kind of thing that happened. But with the way that it ends, I think it's probably going to be one of the worst ways they end like an episode because and we're talking April's be like, oh you guys been going for so long, and then so then, after that we did get to see like whole way of the van driving away, and then the toast big go, oh, and we got a story to tell you. That was terrible pacing. It, Did you notice that, or is it something which you didn't really notice at first?
I didn't really click onto that, to be honest. Like, after them falling out of the sky and almost crashing into the concrete below, I didn't really pick up on that.
Yeah, I'll just say that because of like stuff like YouTube stuff and all that, mindset is it's a bit changed now. So I didn't notice like this kind of stuff a lot more now, and like seeing it like here with this whole episode, it had terrible pacing. But yeah, what do you think about this episode overall?
Overall, I thought this was a really great finale episode. I thought it was really cool to see everyone back again and understanding the history of it all and just seeing everyone fight again. I thought it was just a really cool finale episode. And of course, we got to see the Utron go back to their homeworld, and Dr. Honeycutt has gone back with them. So that story's now ended, and it opens up to a whole new storyline that's going to be very different to the one we've just seen. And I don't think they could probably beat that storyline after them going to space and now they're back home. Like, how can they make something better than that? I'm still at a loss here.
You'll find out eventually. That's all I'm going to say about that. But yeah, I mean, with this episode overall, I'm quite the opposite with this one. I felt like this episode was just poorly paced and just things were just happening because they were happening just because, like, especially like stuff with like Han, all the foot stuff. A lot of it just felt like really oddly like paced, and then it had poor pacing as well. It's just I feel like the 2003 showed it does a really bad job at doing 3-part episodes. I think like normally with like the first part is really good, but then as you like slowly go on, it gets worse and worse, and just this is really remind me a lot of the like Notes from Underground stuff, and oh boy. But yeah, so speaking of the like next storyline, all that, like so I do think it's actually going to be quite interesting to ask you this, but because of all the stuff which happened now, like Shredder, more or less being dead and all that kind of stuff, maybe and all that, and then also the Ultrons going off to space, Foot Clan, who knows what's going to happen to them, and the future for this series unknown so far. Like, what do you think is going to happen next?
To be honest, I really don't know. I think we might get to see the Triceraton and seeing if the Triceraton wants to have revenge on the turtles. To be honest, I really don't know. We could see Stockman back again because he's now free, or what's left of him. But yeah, I really don't know. There is so much more that could happen that I cannot put a single point on it. Like, I can't tell you what I think because I don't know what's going to happen next. That's the problem. There's so much possibilities and realities that could happen. There's not really a sound point I could make with that.
Yeah, see that like with where they're like I'd say like with where they are now, like within the show, I do find it to be like a really interesting point where they could almost do pretty much anything they wanted to do because of they more or less like stopped every bad guy up to that point with like maybe like one two loose ends here and there. So I do find it like pretty interesting with where they do take like the next episode, which so yeah okay. So do you want to hear some trivia for this episode?
Let's hear it.
Okay, so for this okay, so for this episode, it was based off issue 7 of the original comics. This episode had two references to the old TMNT show. One was April being dressed up as in yellow jumpsuit and posed as like TV reporter, and also Krang makes a like so yeah, so Krang makes a cameo in this episode. Was you expecting Krang to make a cameo?
To be honest, when they said "stop complaining, Krang," I was thinking, okay, that's kind of cool. They're referring to the Krang in this. Um, of course, they're not called the Krang in this series. They're called the Utron. Um, but, 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 but because I saw the 2012 version of the Krang being the bad guys, and of course the Utron referring to one of their own as Krang. It was kind of like a little funny joke in there, just to say like, "Oh, Krang, stop complaining" and all that.
Yeah, I'd say there was like a nice little reference, better than the like it's them like no. So I'd say that it was like a really nice reference. That actually felt like it actually fit within the show, and felt it was just like I'd say that unlike the like, April stuff, it felt like it actually fit within the episode, and it was just it was just it was was it? It was like it was like a nice little nod. That's what I'm gonna say. So yeah, I'd say it's like yeah. Yeah, I'm not gonna be able to repeat that. uh, okay, so the next bit is talking about the Shadow character. We won't be talking about that. The ending of the last episode featured a foot ninja in Shredder's army, but in the opening battle of this episode, the foot ninja is not present. Oh, that's a shame. It doesn't actually come up in any other episode. So, yeah. This episode makes a reference to the Alien franchise. That was when I think Mikey was talking about Shrell being on Wrath and saying the Shrell was going to come out of Wrath's body.
Yep.
This episode ends with a long chain of adventures that began in episode 13. So that's pretty cool. The clip where the Mortal uses Shock's expression to Shredder's plan to use the Transmat was recycled from Secret Origins Part 1. And yeah, there's a few other like little bits in here which was reused. So she's like when Trevor like went to use his claw and landed on my splinter's stick, that was recycled from episode 11 Shredder Strikes part 1 no part 2. So they have like reused quite a few little bits in here. Oh, also there was a little mistake which I've found. I don't know if you noticed this, but when in the opening battle, we do get to see and we do get to see a turtle using rest size, but with Leonardo's mask. Did you notice that?
Wait, what? Say that again?
So there was a turtle. I'm presuming it's going to be Raph. He had like rest size, fastened the foot, but had Leo's blue mask.
Maybe they switched weapons halfway through the fight. Maybe they exchanged weapons to fight different people. That's the only conclusion I can come to.
But you could
Uh,
hear Raph like grunting, like grunts coming out of him. So it was definitely Raph.
maybe to be honest, I really didn't pick up on that, to be honest.
uh, like it's a fun little weird mistake, like because I mean, do get to see like a lot of these kind of mistakes happen in the original show, which were very amusing to say the very least. Like I'd say it's definitely like one of the highlights. So I doubt they'll put it like I highly doubt they're putting that in just for a reference for this episode, but it was fun cool, but it was a great mistake. Um, okay, so John, here's the cast for this episode.
Yeah, let's hear it.
Okay, so Donatello is voiced by Sam Riegel, Leonardo voiced by Michael St. Nicholas, Michelangelo voiced by Wayne Grayson, Raphael voiced by Greg Abbey, Splinter voiced by Darren Dunstan, the Ultron Shredder slash Shirelle voiced by Scotty Ray, Baxter Stockman voiced by Scott Williams, Future Toy voiced by Oliver Wyman, Casey Jones voiced by Mark Thompson, April voiced by Veronica Taylor, Hun voiced by Greg Kari, Miss Mortu voiced by Dan Green, Krang voiced by Wayne Grayson, and then the general, then like the cancel things, they were voiced by Darren Johnson as well. So yeah, okay. So for next week's episode, it's called Reflections. So what do you think is going to happen in that episode?
To be honest, I'm not too sure. I think maybe they would reflect on the past. Maybe they would like remember what happened. Like it was a pretty crazy couple of hours that they experienced, and maybe they have some sort of fond memories, or maybe some horrific ones, and trying to reflect on what actually happened and why it happened. Maybe it's one of those episodes to kickstart the new season, perhaps. But to be honest, that's only my brief idea of what actually might happen.
Okay, well, you more or less are correct. It's just a tells like reflection on the stuff which I got a feeling we're going to struggle next week to find stuff to talk about because they just literally just show clips from like previous episodes. So yeah, it's going to be hard
Oh,
to talk
okay.
about. Yeah, it's not one of the best, but it's just like one of those kind of episodes which is just like, oh yeah, I remember that. That's a good episode. Oh yeah, that's a bad episode. So yeah, but time for your favorite part. Who do you think's going to start the episode?
Ah, great.
It's not one of the
Uh,
turtles.
okay. Um, I'm thinking maybe Splinter this time because I think Splinter's gonna like recall on the fact that he's gonna explain what happened and why it happened because he wasn't present with the turtles when they went to space. I think I'm gonna lock in and I'm gonna say Splinter.
Well done!
Oh my god, I
Woo!
actually did it!
Yeah! You
Oh
want to
my
do it for
god.
next week?
Oh, shut up. Let me have this moment.
Uh, but
Nice.
yeah. So, do you have anything to say about this episode, or is all done with this one?
To be honest, I'm sort of done with this one. I've said all that I've needed to say, really. I can't cram any more information into it because we'll be here all night if we are. But yeah, no, I thought this was a really cool season finale for this one. I thought it was really cool just to put all the pieces together and reunite the turtles with their master and make sure the Utron got home and closing the story down with Dr. Honeycutt. I thought it was a really good one.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it also decent episode. Very poorly paced, but yeah, at least it's over with now. So yeah, so oh god, how do you end this thing? I keep forgetting every week. Shit.
We've been doing this for years now, and you still
Yeah,
forget. I don't
no,
understand.
no, I changed it to get rid of the outro. But yeah. So if you do like this, make sure to like, share, comment, subscribe, and all that kind of stuff. We'll see you all soon. Goodbye, yo. Bye.
Bye.
We're done.
Oh my god, that was. Oh, that was a difficult one.
In
Oh,
my defense, I changed the outro bit.
okay. Change the outro. I didn't even know. Wait, when did you change the outro?
When we first started doing this season, just because I got rid of the like comment section because I didn't know if we was going to be if it, just because I like last few weeks before that like wasn't doing consistently, so wasn't too sure if it was going to be doing every week or not. So I thought it would just be easier just to like not include the comment, just so that way I'm not or not like messing people around and stuff like that. So I took that bit out, but now I don't know how to actually end it. You got the
Oh,
easy part, just talking.
yeah, just talking random stuff about the turtles and just say my opinion. Really, like I've got it easy, I guess.
You got it easy. Yeah, yeah, it's so easy. I got to do everything else. All you got to do is watch TV and talk about it. God, God, your life is so hard.
I know, right? It's terrible.